back with episode 2 of the Concussion Protocol Podcast. That part always gets edited out by the AI, by the way. Every time I'm starting to
Does it really?
It'll show one of us do this, and then it'll just skip over it because we went quiet. So you gotta straight up just say, "Hi, Mom."
I wonder why my mom hasn't been telling me hi back.
Wow.
That's the only explanation, Chase.
Clearly.
I mean, clearly she watches every single one of these episodes and knows that I have a podcast going on.
Yes, all of it, too. Doesn't skip a single minute of it, too.
Yeah. My mom loves me.
Like most days, my mom loves me. We have a couple consistent viewers. We appreciate you guys greatly. I'll walk downstairs and my dad will be watching it every once in a while, so I'm like, yeah, nice. And then I'll see something I said, and I was like, did I really say that? No.
Dang. Yeah, it's hard to watch yourself sometimes.
Yeah.
Somebody needs to do a clip of, we've been talking to this forever for, specifically Connor, of just doing a loop of all the wild things he said. But I think any of the three of us would be like, wait, I said that? What the crap was I thinking? Am I an idiot?
We really do.
Everybody watch me.
Someone needs to make that, but then we need to make one with I'm sorry, Prince.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. If I find the time, we have to. It would be a hit.
It'd be perfect for the off-season thing, too. So
yeah.
Just show a collection of what he said this year that didn't pan out. Oh, it would be great. But let's get into it. Last week was basically our last true highlighted picks, where it was a giant collection of, I think, 14 games last week. This week we only got a couple games left, guys. We got 2 games left. I believe the FCS championship is either finished right now or it's about to finish.
It finished.
Don't tell me.
I won't tell you. It popped up on my phone.
But we got two games left here, and then one next and then the national championship. So let's start off with the game in my home state, Fiesta Bowl, and 2 teams that I did not expect to make it. Ole Miss and Miami, the 6 seed versus the 10 seed.
Wow.
Crazy. Miami hasn't won since 2000 or 2001, and Ole Miss has never won. So this is crazy. Which team do you think is more of a shock to see make it this far? Ole Miss or Miami?
I'm going to give a good and bad answer. I'm shocked that Miami got back to the form that we thought in the middle of the season. You especially thought Miami was the best team in the country. I did back you and think that. And then they fell apart in Miami fashion. And then I kind of reminded myself, oh, they're Miami. This Miami team playing the way that they are was always their potential that they showed during the regular season. So I'm not shocked because of that they're here now, that we see it. It's clear as day. We're all watching. We're like, yeah, Miami's good. What are we doing? But if you told me after they lost twice that they would make it this far, I would tell you, what are you talking about, you stupid? They're not even going to make the playoffs. How did they make the playoffs is what I would ask you. So I guess that's my answer is Miami. They always had it within themselves. They just had to find it again.
They just had to believe.
It was, yes, it's a Disney fairy tale answer.
I guess they are the Cinderellas here. We need, if they finish out, we got a Disney princess on our hands, and her name is Carson Beck.
Her name is Carson Beck, yes.
Yeah, for me, I think the more shocking team, while you make a great point for Miami, I think it's Ole Miss. At the beginning of the playoffs, I knew they were going to beat Tulane because they'd already played Tulane and they dominated them. I thought after that it was roadblock central with Georgia. I thought Georgia was going to handle them. Georgia's defense is much better than Ole Miss's defense. At least they were all year. And then it changed that game. Ole Miss's defense came to play. Their offense didn't stutter at all. It looked like they had been all year playing, except again, Ole Miss's offense had stuttered against the likes of Washington State. but then they come and play Georgia, the number 3 team in the country, and just walk all over them. So it's crazy to me.
Yeah.
To do
Without
this
their head coach, nobody believed in them without their head coach.
without their head coach. I know that it's not the head coach is never the all end all be all, but they are a very important piece, and I thought that would be a factor at least in the second round, and it wasn't.
Well, and
So
we're not talking about a head coach, the most coveted head coach this coaching cycle,
yeah,
right?
everyone
Uh,
was looking for Lane, who was trying to hire a coach, and right
and,
now,
and and we were talking about, well, I mean, like, how long until these kids just jump ship? You know, they're already gone mentally or whatever. Yeah, no, not the case.
no, they won it, and they won it bad, and they're performing. So, but let's give our best our best synopsis of what we think could happen in this fiesta.
What a joke.
Because
We have no idea. Nobody has any idea. It's nuts. I thought going into last week I had an idea of how things were going to go. This week I've given up. That's your synopsis, Chase. I don't know. I give up. But I'll try. Because we're a podcast and that's our job, right? It's to try. So I guess we'll try. I'm excited for this game. I think it'll be a good game. I don't know if it's going to be. Let me back up. Each Miami game so far this postseason, I thought it was going to be about, offenses standing out with trickles of defense to stop when you need to. And it hasn't been that way. In fact, a big trend, some of the trends we haven't talked about, by the way, Chase, is defense. Defense is stopping teams in the postseason. There's been more shutouts than ever, as well, or close to shutouts. So Ole Miss definitely wants to play offense. So I'm not going to say it's going to be like the first 2 rounds for Miami, but I don't think it's just going to be an offensive show either. I think it's hopefully going to be what I said before. Offenses are going to put out, and there's going to be some good defensive stops, some necessary defensive stops to win the game from one of these 2 teams, just enough to put it away. But I think offenses are going to shine finally in this one. What do you think?
I wouldn't be that shocked. Ole Miss, as for the most part, never seemed to slow down. There's been a couple games, like I said, that Washington State game was weird. They only got I think 21 points in that game. That was at home. Nobody's really been able to stop their offense for the entirety of the game. I mean, even Georgia, when they beat them in the regular season, they didn't stop them for the first 5 drives. It was 5 straight touchdowns, and then they started stopping them. And you brought that up in the last episode, is that Ole Miss was getting tired and whatnot. And this time they changed that a bit. But for me, I feel like there's diminishing returns for Ole Miss. I feel like I just don't think they can do it all. They could absolutely make me eat crow because they've already done that with the Georgia win. That's a phenomenal win on its own. But I feel like Miami is a brick wall right now, and Ole Miss is going to slam into it. Trinidad Chambliss and Lacey are amazing. They make amazing plays, and there's a ton of players on that team that make crazy plays and the plays that they need to keep the drives going. The only thing I think that's going in their favor in this matchup is that Miami hasn't really been tested with a mobile quarterback. Trinidad does have that ability. Julian Sane did not have that ability. Marcel Reed does, but he didn't really implement it in that game against them. So maybe that could be Miami's kryptonite. But other than that, Miami's defense has looked absolutely stellar. Another notable thing for Miami that's looked stellar is their offensive line. I think they might have the best offensive line in the nation. Like, they have kept Carson Beck practically untouched all year. I think they've only given up I think it's like 6 sacks all season, 7 sacks all season. And with some of the teams they played now, that's an insane feat to do that. Like, that's crazy. And the sad thing is that even only giving up that many sacks, Carson's still thrown quite a few interceptions. But now that they're leaning on that running game that's really been taken off, Carson doesn't have to do too much. So if they can limit Ole Miss, which is a big if because not many teams have been able to slow them down, if they can limit them, they're going to win easily, I think. If they can't limit them, then it's over. Because Carson Beck does have the potential, but he also has the potential, like we've seen all this year and last year, to turn the ball over and put his team at a huge disadvantage.
So what are the keys to Ole Miss actually winning this game? How do they what's the game plan coming in? What do they see in this Miami team that says, "Hey, we can take advantage of this and win"?
Well, like I said, you need to utilize Trinidad as a runner. You need to spread out that defense so that they look and expect him to run, and then you can open up the offense to throw it down the field. Because if they're committing a whole player to being a spy, that means they either can't rush four, which has been helping them sack quarterbacks, or they can rush four, but now they have one less guy in coverage. So if they can do that, then that's going to be really helpful in Ole Miss's favor. If Trinidad gets bottled up or maybe gets dinged, because a lot of these mobile quarterbacks do end up getting dinged in their ankle or something. I mean, even you saw with BYU with why am I blanking on BYU now? That was
Bear.
Bachmeyer, Bear Bachmeyer. When he got dinged up and he couldn't do what he does, it made it a lot easier for Texas Tech to actually dominate them. So I think if Miami can limit that, then it's over for Ole Miss. But if they can't, it's wide open for Ole Miss. But I might be making it a little bit simplistic because Ole Miss has lots of different ways that they can score, and their defense has been playing lights out. Uh, I think I might say that the question might be more: can Ole Miss's defense stop Miami's run game and then force Carson Beck to be the hero? Because if Carson
Okay.
Beck is the one put in the driver's seat, he could very well be the hero, but he might not be. He might be the guy that throws 3 interceptions again. So
You stole my thunder or my thought because that is that if I'm looking at in Ole Miss's point of view, I'm looking at it this way. Miami's offensive line, they're going to manhandle you. I mean, if you have the foresight to see that, then you'll understand that's not our strength. They're gonna beat us. There's no chance we have there. So we have to play a different way. Also, if Miami is able to consistently control the ball and score, your offense, I'm worried about Ole Miss's offense in the sense of I know they can make explosive plays. I know they can score a lot of points. However, if Miami can control the ball, if they can score every time, maybe it's not explosive plays. They do have explosive teams, but I don't think that they need to or want to do that necessarily. I think they want to just drive down and score each time that they can. Because while Ole Miss can score very easily, Miami can easily just go in and get a sack, right? Put them in a say let's say Ole Miss was 2nd and 5. They get sacked for 10 yards. All of a sudden, it's 3rd and 15. Ole Miss comes up short on that drive. Ole Miss can, yeah, they can go back and score the next drive. But what if Miami continues to score? It's gonna and they get those little stops here and there throughout the game. I mean, Miami's going to control the game that way. So, how do you stop Miami? And I think you named the key. Miami, what they've been doing well the postseason that they haven't as well the whole season is that run game. It was very impressive. That Texas A&M game, very impressive what they did with the run game, right? Take away that, let Carson Beck have his good plays, but also let him have his bad plays. Ole Miss had some key good picks throughout the season, throughout even last game. They had some couple key turnovers that allowed their offense to do their thing and score more points. I think you're going to be more reliant on Ole Miss, not on being able to stop consistently Miami, but to get those turnovers that you need. So don't let them have consistency in the run game. Don't let them dominate you that way. That doesn't mean that you have to rush everybody. Fill the gaps, play sound football, and hope that Carson Beck does Carson Beck things and throws the game away. That's how I see it going if I'm Miami.
Yeah, they do need to keep some of that explosive momentum though, because Ohio State and their matchup against Miami, they did not have that. They had like maybe one play that had that, but because Julian Sayin was clearly a bit limited in his skill set and his composure, they weren't able to make the big plays. And even that one play that was just a simple screen pass turned into a pick six. And that really that was basically the gravedigger for the game. It happened early, but those were points that they never got back, was those 7 points. If
Yeah,
they
and
hadn't given that up, it would have been like a 3-point game. It would have been a very different mood, a very different tone. So
yeah, and I agree with you on offense. I'm not saying don't be explosive. Ole Miss has to be explosive. They have to be true to themselves. I'm saying defense. A lot of teams are that they're don't give up anything big. The consistency of trying to find a way to get them the 3rd and long and try to get them out. I don't think that's going to work for Ole Miss. I think their defense is, if they get the big play, give them the big play. They're probably going to score anyway, but take away the little things. Make Carson Beck have that big play, because he's either going to make it or maybe we can pick it off. I'd rather play that kind of defense if I'm Ole Miss, even though a lot of teams shouldn't. And I hate that style of play a lot of times. I think in this one, it's appropriate. Play the offense the way you do, but defensively, take away the consistency and leave up the big ball, because you can big ball with these guys. You can't consistently run it down their throats and play the big physical game that Miami can, in my opinion. Make it a shootout.
So, all right. Well, with that, I ask you, Connor picked Ole Miss. Who do you pick?
Miami.
Miami?
I don't think that Ole Miss is going to be able to. Carson Beck, as much as I have struggled with that man this year and how much he owns my soul and shouldn't and should at the same time, when he needs to, he can. He's capable of taking care of the ball and making the plays that he needs to. And like I said, Ole Miss should try to bait him, but if he plays the way he needs to, and he should have plenty of time in that backfield, I think he can get it done. And on the defensive side, like I said, you're not going to stop Ole Miss every single time. They're going to score and they're going to have big plays. But Miami, they're going to have that play where, hey, they got that huge sack. They've been putting lots of pressure on there. They're going to be able to make these little stops throughout the game to score enough points. So, give me Miami.
Yep, you and I are in agreement. I do feel like it's kind of a perception, kind of in being embedded with prior information, is that earlier on in the season did I see Miami show me high potential? So it feels a lot more reasonable to believe in this team because I saw how high their potential was early on. It dipped in the midseason against Louisville and SMU, clearly, but they're back at it. They're at the end of the season. They've proven that they're back at that high potential they have with what they did against Texas A&M, dominating them defensively on the road, and then dominating the number 2 team in the country in Ohio State, and early dominating them. For Ole Miss, I've watched a lot of their games this season, and I did not believe in them until this week. Like they played their hearts out against Georgia, so I definitely believed in them as a playoff team. I did not see them going past the second round. I did not see them passing Georgia again. I think there's other SEC teams that might have beat them. Clearly now I feel differently. I mean, Ole Miss is the last man standing in the SEC. They've played their hearts out. Their potential is clearly higher than I thought. I mean, I saw them struggle to put away an LSU team at home. They won by 5 points, which there was a call in that game that could have changed that completely. And yes, LSU was probably competing more because they had more people healthy at the time. They had their head coach, but I saw that struggle fest. I saw the Washington State struggle fest. I saw them get the win on the road against Oklahoma, but it was a bit iffy, and I didn't know how they were looking. They didn't look that strong until right now, which could be great. It could be that they just turned on, and now they're truly the scary team to go against. But just like I said, I think it's kind of that perception is that Miami is more believable right now because they showed it a lot earlier. It doesn't seem like a fluke that just happened, that they snapped into it. Like Miami showed this before, they can do it again. And that's why I think Miami's going to win this game. But like I said, I could see Ole Miss doing it too, but Miami just feels more believable at this moment. So,
I agree.
which is weird to say out of context, but when the four teams left are teams that have never won it or haven't won it in 24 years, it's
Anything could
all
happen.
crazy. So,
One of these teams was the losingest history in football. Think about that.
yeah,
The
they had
team that was just the worst team of all time is now maybe going to win a championship.
yep, they hadn't won a bowl game since 1990, I think.
Hey, you're talking about Indiana?
Yeah, it was the Copper Bowl against Baylor, and they won 24-0. Since then, they haven't won a bowl game. I
Wow.
think it was 1990. I might be embedding that with one of the trivia questions I'm about to ask you, so it might be 1993 or something like that. But
Crap, I got to
it's in
remember
the
the
90s.
1990 year.
Nah, maybe, but I might be embedding it. But no, I think it was 1990 for them. The Copper Bowl is it. It was in Arizona in Tucson, and it was against Baylor, and they won 24-0. And that was the last bowl game they ever won until this Bama game. That's
Wow.
crazy. Because last year they made the playoffs, but they lost the first round. So, all right, on to the Peach Bowl.
Okay.
Arguably a battle of Goliaths right now. Oregon
Both
looked
of them looked amazing
They both
last
looked
week.
amazing last week. Oregon pitching a shutout against a Texas Tech team that had been rolling in their conference, and Indiana absolutely embarrassing the Tide. Just ooh, it was delicious. It was delicious. Just I
The
could
only
taste.
thing that would have made it better if it was Nick Saban.
Yeah. Well, we got I got a couple of those too. Those ones did taste like that Clemson national championship 2018. Delicious. That was amazing. Uh, but this one was also awesome. So, uh, this is a weird year. But has Oregon learned from their mistakes from the middle of the season when they played Indiana at home? Can they change what they did and compete against this Indiana team? Can anybody compete against this Indiana team? Or are they just far and wide the better team left right now?
So we talked about it in the earlier episode, recapping last week. Um, it I it's not. I don't know if it's mistakes that you can capitalize against this Indiana team. The strength of this Indiana team is just they're so sound in their assignments. They believe in each other. They play the way football should be played, that you almost need just miracles to happen to beat them, just because you're not going to beat them because somebody blows their assignment, because somebody wasn't where they were supposed to be. There's
Or
some
you need
psycho in charge.
or you
And
need some miracles to not happen to beat them with those two-toe touches that their wide receivers made against Penn State earlier in the season.
I guess that's fair, but I mean, like, you beat this team by somehow. You can't beat them at their own game. You're not going to be more sound than them, so you have to be more talented and have things go your way. Does Oregon have the talent that Alabama lacked, that Ohio State lacked, that to make this happen? Well, the answer from earlier this season was no, when they had their advantage at home, which, by the way, West Coast, so that's even more of an advantage. That there was every reason for Oregon to win that game, and they did not win that game. So for me to go on and say Oregon's going to win this game, that's tough. Um, they played really well, Chase, last week. Really, really well. So if there's a spark of hope for them to win, it's because of last week, and they hang your hat on that. But again, I just unfortunately I don't think anything's getting in the way of Indiana. They've got the Heisman winner, who's this nerdy kid who could probably calculate the geometry of what his pass needs to be to complete it all during the snap. I don't know. It's crazy. Or the evil emperor is using his force powers to, I don't know, do something to the other team.
He's using the power of disappointment to
Power of
intimidate
disappointment.
to intimidate the other team. That's for sure.
Yeah. Man, I'm done not believing in Indiana. There's no reason not to believe in them. Oregon's a great team. Oregon has explosiveness. Oregon has talent, speed, hype. They've got almost everything, but what they don't have is Kurt Signetti and Fernando Mendoza, unfortunately. And there's just nothing I can see that can stand in their way. Not even Dante Moore and all their talent.
It's definitely a tough ask. And historically, when something has been a tough ask for Oregon, they do not make it happen. Unfortunately, they have always found ways to lose in the biggest moments. In 2015, they blew out Florida State in the semifinals, and then they came against an Ohio State with their third string quarterback, and then they got blown out by like 30 points in the national championship. In 2010, with Chip Kelly's offense, they came against a magical Cam Newton Auburn team. I believe they were leading in a lot of that game, and push came to shove, and they lost that game. And then last year, number one seed, beat Ohio State earlier in the year. Yes, there was that, interesting knowledge of the rules thing that helped in their benefit.
Yeah.
But they beat Ohio State, and then they come into the rematch and they get blown out by 30 points. So I think the trend here is that they look really good, and then they don't. they look like they're going to get blown out by 30 points, and I think that's a possibility in this game. Genuinely, I think Oregon's a great team, so this could be a 3-point game. It could be a 30-point game. It's truly just how dominant I think Indiana is, because Indiana went into Autzen in a game where I picked Oregon, and they won by 10, but they dominated that game. The line of scrimmage was dominated by Indiana. They just controlled that game, and the score did not indicate how much Indiana controlled that game. If Indiana can replicate anywhere near that, I think it's going to be at least a 15-point game, like a 14-point game. If they do better, then I think it's going to be worse. I think the Ducks they'll get embarrassed like they did last season or in previous years.
I also picked Oregon in that game earlier in the season. Yeah, I would it be more surprising to you if Ole Miss beat Miami or if Oregon beat Indiana?
Oregon.
Me
Yeah,
too.
Oregon.
Yep, I'm on the same track. And there's a world where they can. I'm not going to say that it's an impossibility. They'd have to play perfect like last week, though, and Indiana would somehow need to slip up. But it just, man, it just seems like it's destiny. It almost seems like Indiana's destined.
The only game I think is more of a shocker than Oregon somehow upsetting Indiana is probably the Ole Miss beating Georgia. I thought that skill gap was there too. So, but now seeing Indiana, Indiana came out of the what was supposed to make everybody rusty first round bye and just absolutely embarrassed a national the team of the last decade in Alabama. Embarrassed them, like made them look like like a Division II league like team. Like they looked pathetic out there. So This one would be shocking, but because Oregon, I think, is a higher caliber team, I don't think it would be as shocking as the Ole Miss Georgia game, but it would be very close. It'd be very close. But I think it's a hard ask for Oregon, and they, like I said, historically, that's not their forte. So they lose these big games, or they lose at the end of the regular season against a team like Utah or ASU or something, and just or Washington, and screw themselves out of the playoffs altogether. So, but this is a year of a lot of weirdness and broken.
Texas A&M made the playoffs.
Yeah,
Weird things happen.
lots of
Somebody
weird
has to
things
break
happen
the
this year. So
curse.
Oregon, you're obviously not out yet. You got plenty of chance to prove yourselves in the Peach Bowl here, but Indiana just looks like them, and it's. I genuinely fear the next few years with Kurt Signetti at the helm of that program. I am not happy. I am not
At
happy.
least it's a program that's not Alabama.
Yes,
At
but
the very least,
it's
that's not
not
just
right
already
now.
the number one program of all time, and you get the number one
Yeah,
coach and dominate and whatever. It's the school that had the worst record of all time. That's kind of a cool story at the very least.
yes, yes. No, it is
It's a cool
definitely.
story until it isn't, right? It's
Yes,
like the Thunder. I kept telling everybody last year, I
yeah,
was like, you do not want the Thunder to win. And they're like, no, it's such a cool story. Yeah, yeah. It's like, wait until they win 5 in a row. You'll
yeah,
hate that they won that championship.
yeah. I
Yeah.
wanted Indiana so bad in that one too, which is ironic here, seeing as we're now talking about Indiana. But the Pacers with all those buzzer beaters, man, that was magic for them. So, damn, now that you made me think about that, that Indiana does deserve some love, man. Ugh.
They deserve some love, I mean, it is a really cool story, but we might be sitting here 5 years from now and be like, oof, we should have been cheering against them the whole time. We should have seen the Empire coming.
Yeah, they are very threatening, and I genuinely hope that even if they win this year, I hope that next year something keeps them out. I hope
Yeah.
they get stonewalled by an unfortunate matchup in the playoffs or whatever happens. But I cannot see another dynasty coming right now. We just got rid of basically two dynasties in this last week, is stopping that from happening with a repeat with Ohio State or a return of Alabama. So I don't want to see any of
Georgia.
that, or Georgia. But Georgia's dynasty is more of, yeah, we can win the SEC, but then the playoffs happen and we lose right away. At least the last two seasons. But sorry, Georgia fans. I was actually running. I was cheering for you guys, but you disappointed. Oh, and Connor, unsurprisingly, who has picked Indiana all year, picked Indiana. Well,
Connor,
although he didn't pick them in the Ohio State matchup, though.
he didn't?
No.
Really? That's when he gave up on his team?
Yeah.
Huh. Credit to Connor. There was a lot he got wrong this year, but he definitely got Indiana right this year. Kudos to him.
Actually, no, he did pick Indiana. My bad.
Oh, well, Kirby Smart clap for Connor.
He was riding off of vibes, but I had to hex.
And then a Kursignetti stare for him. All right.
Oh, well, that is our highlighted picks. Our second to last of the season. We have one more highlighted pick total.
Wow.
And that comes in the Natty. It's crazy that we made it here. It feels like just yesterday we were doing preseason prep, figuring out which teams had collected all these players from the transfer portal and which teams were going to be standouts. And Connor picked Kansas to be good, and I picked Baylor to be good, and you picked Illinois to be good.
I also picked Duke to be good, which was
And you
wrong.
also picked Duke.
It was right.
As stupid as a 9-5 team. How weird does that sound? Why would a team that has 5 losses play 14 games? It doesn't make any sense. But crazy. But thanks ACC. But
That I still, you know what? All the crap that I've done wrong, all the comments that I've gotten, fair. But you can't take that one away from me. Nobody could ever take away that one from me.
that is crazy. Literally, I will never forget. It pisses me off that I didn't sports bet, because I did have that one little fleeting feeling of, Chance is riding some magic this season. Maybe I should bet on Duke right now. They had plus 10,000 odds to make the ACC championship after they lost to UConn and Virginia. They
You
had
would have been rich.
5 losses plus 10,000 odds. Oh my god, I should have just done it. Ugh. But I
You
don't.
would have been filthy rich.
I would have lost more money betting on other vibes too. So I would have made money on that one for sure. But God, but I tip my hat to you. It was a good call. Good call.
Thank
I
you.
hope you pick a team we really like next season to do that instead of
Yeah,
Duke.
I had to roll with Duke and Alabama this season.
Yeah,
You know how much that hurt me?
Yeah. What the hell?
I also had to ride with Utah for a game.
And nobody forced you to do that. Nobody forced you to do that, Chance. Nobody forced you. You were the one that was like, Utah's scary. Utah's scary. They're going to be undefeated.
Connor still has nightmares about Utah.
Remember, originally you said that Utah and BYU were both going to be undefeated in the Holy War, and
it was close.
Then Utah got embarrassed by Texas Tech,
but it was close. They almost both got in undefeated.
Almost. If it weren't for those pesky Red Raiders, it would have been.
Those guys, they still haunt my nightmares.
Yeah, dude. They haunted me, and I paid to watch that game on the flight too. It was not a fun watch, man.
Red Raiders and Carson Beck legally own my soul.
Yeah. But that's okay because you own Connors.
I own
But
Connors.
honestly, half of me believes he just keeps avoiding this because he doesn't want to admit that you're beating him in record right now and haven't spun.
Am I still beating him somehow? Because I feel like I've done terribly.
Well, I don't know. First of all, yes. Even if we combined all of them, I'm pretty sure you'd still be ahead. It'd be very close, but you'd still be ahead. But I don't know what the division thing is because we haven't gotten together to talk about it because Connor's been really busy, and then you were busy, and then I was busy, and then he was busy, and then he was busy, and then he was busy again.
And then he was busy again.
Yeah, and then he was busy again. But we'll figure that out. We got a whole.
And then just for the future, he'll be busy again.
Yeah, and then he'll be busy. He's on his bye week. He's still in the transfer portal, figuring out his options. Don't know if or when he'll be back, but we'll see. I got trivia on deck waiting for him if he comes back. But for now, our trivia segment is back to Chance. I went last week. We're back to Chance.
We really need Connor for this because I embarrassed myself last week. You spin a wheel, you put a wheel in front of me, and I won't miss. You put some trivia in front of me, I'll miss all day.
Absolute cinema.
Cinema.
All right, I think you're gonna do better this week because
I don't know. I'm nervous, and because I'm nervous, I'm gonna miss
BYU trivia.
But the stakes are higher now because you're doing it on my.
That's
team.
how I felt with the LSU trivia you did to me.
And you nailed it.
I did do pretty good, but I think you're gonna get more than you think.
Okay.
All right. Starting out with probably the easiest question: who is BYU's sole Heisman winner?
Ty Detmer.
Do you know what year?
He was okay. So he was. I can't remember if it's 82 or 80. Robbie Bosco was 84 when we won. Young was man.
You remember that thing I embedded earlier?
Was it 90?
It was 1990.
Is he that late?
1990.
Wow. 1990.
But that wasn't the question anyway. You got it. Ty Detmer. In that season, which number one team did BYU upset during week 2 of Ty Detmer's
Miami
Heisman season? Miami. You know what the score was?
Oh, I can't remember the score. I wish I did.
28-21.
28-21. Great game. Awesome game. One of the best of all time.
When I was researching these, I was like, it is crazy to me that you guys faced the number one team in the country in Provo, beat them, and then somehow managed to lose to Hawaii on the road the same season in a blowout.
Dude, there was a lot of bad losses. With all the good losses, don't even talk to me about the UTEP loss. If that's on the trivia,
Oh man, you guys somehow lost to Hawaii, which apparently teams going to Hawaii is very difficult for them to win there. So I'm not going to give you too much clout there, but you also got blown out by A&M that year in the Holiday Bowl, and it was
yeah.
not good. So
The Holiday. By the way, BYU every single year used to go to the Holiday Bowl, and then in the 2000s, it was the Las Vegas Bowl every single year. I think we went to like 5 Las Vegas Bowls in a row or something like that. Anyway,
all right, question number 3: what is the name of the BYU mascot?
Cosmo.
What
Wow,
year?
you are being very nice to me.
What year was he founded?
Oh man, no idea. Let's go with this is totally a guess. 1932.
No. I'll give you a hint. I actually mentioned this year earlier because it is the year that LSU won a natty.
Well, you said, well, it's definitely not 2003, 7, or 2019. Didn't you guys win in 1959?
Oh, sorry. Nope, I confused that. Am I dyslexic? Let's see here. Quick
By
fact.
the way,
Yep, I am dyslexic. Scratch that. That was not the correct year.
that was what was not the correct year. Oh, that Cosmo was.
I said this. I embedded this with one of my LSU facts from earlier, actually. So I did it twice. Woo! It's been a long week, guys. All right.
By the way, I am biased, but I am 100% correct in this. Best mascot in sports, Cosmo. Have you seen the crap that he's done?
We're gonna get into it in a second.
He's crazy. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay. I said that this was the year LSU won the Natty with Billy Cannon and the Heisman. That was 57.
Oh.
The year that that Cosmo was founded was 1953. That's what I embedded in my head. I flipped it.
Okay.
1953.
Okay. Well, now I know.
In 1997, Cosmo was in a hunting accident, which required cosmetic surgery. Who/what was Cosmo hunting at the time?
I was 4 years old.
A lot of the questions you asked me, my grandparents weren't even alive. So.
That's true. I don't know this one. I can take a guess, but I have no idea.
Take some swings.
He was hunting something in 1997.
Did you hear about this at all? The cosmetic surgery or anything?
No, I've never heard of this.
So I will tell you that the story was created because they wanted to change the look of the mascot to make him able to do these athletic things. So he used to have a very different look. They gave him cosmetic surgery so he can do some of the crazy stuff he does now.
Yeah, man.
But the story of the hunting accident that he needed the cosmetic surgery. Who was he allegedly hunting?
I'll take a guess on the hunt. However, can I name the quarterback of the team at the year?
Go for it.
Okay, I believe it was Steve Sarkisian, 1997.
Steve Sarkisian. Well, I see you were a little confused by the who, but no, he was hunting Swoop. Swoop the Hawk.
The Hawk. Yeah, I was actually going to guess Swoop the Hawk.
The Utah
mascot, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually going to guess Swoop the Hawk. But am I correct in the QB?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Oh. We should fact check me. You know what? I genuinely, if you didn't give me the answer, I promise with everything, I was going to guess the Utah mascot because that was the only thing that would make sense to me. We won't give it to me.
That's why there's bad blood, man. He had to get full facial reconstruction because of that damn hawk.
Are you serious? Dang. Also, I mean, I understand why their mascot has to be different, but Utah's mascot is a hawk. I wonder what the story is behind that.
I mean, look at Alabama. Theirs is an elephant.
Yeah.
Roll Tide. I don't know, dude. There's a lot of those in college football, actually. A lot of weird ones. Yeah. I mean, Auburn Tigers, but they chant "War Damn Eagle," and they release a hawk Sorry, Mike. They release a hawk to fly around the stadium.
A lot of things don't make sense in college football.
All right. Well, this one I had hoped Connor would be here for. BYU has played ASU about 30 times.
That
What
many.
is their head-to-head record against ASU?
Oh, I don't know. I will say, I think recent history helps BYU, even though they lost their last matchup. Everybody remembers. Did you watch the Tomahawk fumble? Tyler Algier?
What year was it?
It was, I think it was COVID or the year after COVID.
2021.
I think it was.
I did not watch that game, but BYU won.
Yes, and our QB, I think it was probably Jaron Hall at the time, threw a pick to ASU, and our running back chased him down and caused a fumble right before
punch.
the touchdown. Nice. Yeah. That one hurt Connor. I think it hurt his feelings for a long time. Who has the winning record? I would say that BYU has a better history. That being said, they tend to lose some dumb games. And they only got good. They got really good they ramped up in the 70s, got really good 80s, 90s, and then there was a little luster. So it depends on when they played ASU, but I'm going to go with BYU has the winning record. Do I have to say the record?
Well, I was asking the record.
Okay, so they played 30 times, right?
Yeah. I will give you take a guess, and then.
So I'm going to say that BYU has won 19 of the 30.
Okay, that's not correct. But I did not give you this question expecting you to know that off the top of your head. That would be ridiculous. So I have multiple choice for you.
Okay.
They're 8-21.
BYU?
B, yeah. So the first number is going to be BYU.
Okay.
They're 8-21. B, 11.
Even 30 games.
I said about 30.
Oh, okay.
I think it's exactly 29, but some of the history gets screwed up on some of their sites. Even some of the stuff I looked up for BYU, I found on their website, and it wasn't even correct. So I was like,
well, and I mean, it gets tricky when you play like the really old games. Utah has a different record. They say a different record against BYU than BYU does because some games counted, some games didn't. Yada yada yada.
Just like Auburn claimed 5 national championships this year. So
yeah.
They're the true winners of this year because they won 5 championships in 1 year.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think any team's ever done that.
Good job, Auburn. All right. A, 8-21.
Okay.
B, 11-18. C, 15-14. D, 20-9.
Man, this is so prideful of me. I think it's 15-14 or it's D. Because, I mean, ASU has had some teams, but I think BYU has had a much larger history. It just depends on when they've played each other. Because, like I said, BYU had its glory days, but before that, they sucked. And there was a period of time that they sucked. But for the most part, you know, if it was 80s, 90s, which I think was ASU in the WAC? I know they were in the same conference for some of it. I can't remember if it was the WAC or what conference they were in together.
I'm not entirely sure. I know that BYU was in the WAC because I looked it up, but ASU was not my trivia. ASU was not my trivia title or subject this week, so didn't look it up.
I'm gonna go down the way of pride. Let's go D.
Final answer?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Chance. This one's gonna hurt your pride. They are 8-21. 8-21.
I knew it was one or the other.
Yes.
So they must have played them when they were really bad a lot.
Yeah. So you were correct in the. So outside of these last 2 games they played, which was 2021 and then last year 2024, before there was a massive gap in between playing each other. I think the last one was like 2001 or something like that, and then there's some more gap. But they played a lot in the I believe 70s and 80s and whatnot. 2 is 8-24. 21-8 against BYU.
Time to turn around.
Yeah, It is definitely trending in your direction, so I feel like that definitely could change if you guys are playing if they play every year. So you're playing next season, that's for sure. But I don't know after that because it's the scheduling's weird. But
Well, it's a good thing Connor won't watch this segment.
I could bring it up to him again. All right. What year was BYU's football program founded?
There's probably conflicting stories online, I would imagine. Maybe there isn't. I want to say like they've been playing since like for a long time. Like, man, I'm probably wrong on this. I want to say they were like right before the century. So like 1898 or something like that. I'm probably way off, but
All right. You took your guess. I got multiple choice for you again.
okay.
A, 1922. B, 1917. C, 1930. D, 1924.
Okay, well, I know that Cosmo was probably came a little bit after the team was founded, so it's definitely in the 1900s. I can tell you that.
So that narrows it
Definitely
down.
not in the 1800s.
So that
I
doesn't
definitely didn't say anything like that.
it definitely doesn't narrow it down at all for you.
What? Give me the answers again.
A, 1922. B, 1917. C,
Okay.
1930. D, 1924.
I'll go with 1922.
Final answer?
It's that or 1924, I think. 22. Let's go with it.
Correct. 1922. See, I didn't get mad at you for guessing it. Just like when you asked me the question.
Yeah, but you guessed some pretty crazy things.
uh, oh, right. I also forgot to ask, just as a side note, do you know where Cosmo got their name?
No, I actually don't. I
So
should.
it's interesting because I can't find what this meant, like other than just from the AI thing. Like it won't show me anything that actually says this. But according to the AI search, they said that Cosmo got the name from BYU was considered in the 1950s. There was a phrase called a cosmopolitan school, which basically means like accepting of like everyone from around the country and internationally. And that's where Cosmo got their name, was Cosmopolitan, just short for Cosmopolitan.
I haven't heard that.
So I was like, huh? I was like, the only
Okay.
thing I've ever heard of Cosmopolitan is that that is a drink or that that is a magazine. I was like, I don't know. I'm not
And
cool.
I was thinking of the hotel in Vegas, so
Yeah, that too.
so none of the above.
None of the above. All right. Now to my favorite part.
Okay, here are the hard questions now that are going to make me look silly. By the way, hold on. Before we do this, who was BYU's QB in 1997? What? That's not right.
Dude, sometimes that's what I'm saying. Take that Cosmopolitan story with a grain of salt, because sometimes that stuff turns up a ton of
Wait a
bull.
second. This can't be right. Is it? By the way, offensive coordinator that season was Norm Chow. You remember Norm Chow?
No.
He I think he coached at UCLA. There's no way. There's no way it's this. Am I stupid? Hold on. When did I mean maybe Steve Sarkisian was like 1993. Oh, he was 95 and 96. I was a year off. Okay, and then okay, yeah, it said the AI said it was John Beck, which I knew was wrong. Who did play? Who was BYU's QB in 1997? There's no way, unless there's another John Beck that I Drew Miller. Oh, okay. I don't know why it said John Beck. That was crazy, but I was off by 1 year on Sarkisian. Darn.
Well, I'll be honest. That none of that is going to help you here.
Okay, yeah.
this,
This
this
is going to get really tricky.
this is why I allowed it. But this may be hard, not in a difficulty standpoint, but just how you have to hear it. How many times has BYU played LSU?
Can I ask a question? Have they played in my lifetime?
Correct.
They have?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember them playing in my lifetime. You're using trivia to try to humiliate me with my favorite team? How low can you go? Did you know that they lost to Hawaii? Did you know that ASU has a better record? Oh, how many times did LSU play them? Did you know that they've only played
Hey,
5 times and they've
hey,
lost all 5 times?
Chance. I think the more embarrassing part is that it took you past the ASU question to get to figure that one out. But here on the bright side is you have people that watch this podcast that are 100% going to defend you. I don't have that luxury. This is truly a me versus you and everybody else that's going to be like, wait a minute.
Oh, all right. I'll go with I honestly don't know. I'll go with 8. They've played 8 times.
No, they've played once. One time.
Once? That's it?
They played in 2017.
Really?
Yep.
2017? That
Yep.
recently?
It was a neutral field game. Started as a neutral field game, really. It was supposed to be played in Houston. There was, I believe, a hurricane or something, and they moved it to Mercedes-Benz Stadium in New Orleans. So it wasn't as much of a neutral field game at that point, but it wasn't at LSU Stadium. Do you know what the score was?
That was, I'm trying to think of what the team was in 2017. Probably not a good team. Let's go with 35-3.
Pretty close. It was 27-0.
Okay.
Just
you feel good? Do you feel good about yourself, Chase?
Yeah. Now this part, I really wanted Connor to be here for this part because this would have been perfect, and I know you would have gotten a kick out of it. But my last few questions for you, Chance. These are not BYU related. That was the end of the BYU related section.
I did okay. I did terrible about myself.
You did good. If this was high school, I don't think you would have passed. But no,
I would have got. I probably got 70%. Come on, that's like a C.
That's good. That you might have. There were some extra points in there. I just didn't record it fully. But all right. But here's the extra credit that you're going to make up right here, Chance. How many wheel spins did you have this year?
It depends on what we count as a wheel spin.
How many wheel spins did you have this year?
Okay, did I spin or did I earn? I spun one for Duke. Depends on if you count Alabama.
Chance, how many times did you receive a punishment from the wheel this year? None. How many wheel spins has Connor had?
Too many to count. I don't know. I want to say 7.
I could be missing. I could be missing one here. Please remind me if I'm missing one, or anyone in the chat if you've been keeping track, or if Kelsey's listening. I know she would have kept track because she thinks it's hilarious that he has to do some of these things. But I have 5 recorded.
5?
Yep. The UTSA tape, Kansas, Utah beating ASU, the Georgia Tech one, and USF are the ones I have.
Well, okay. Yes, but he should have had to take one for Duke.
Yes. But we did. We talked those ones through because of the weird, the weird framing around the other one, the Alabama one.
All right. We'll give him 5 then.
All right. And your last question, Chance. How many punishments? How many has he done? Oh, man. Yeah. This was Connor's idea, by the way. The trivia and the wheel of punishment. So.
And how many has he done?
Either do them or we need to revise some of this stuff there, Connor. Because I am not getting my leg waxed unless I see some commitment on your end. I've at least done a punishment. But yeah, this would have been. I wanted him to be there so bad for that one because he would have been steamed.
Yeah.
And you're like, what? This was supposed to be.
Guys, I'm gonna do it. I swear.
I swear. When I get to Virginia.
When I get to Virginia, I'm gonna do everything.
Yeah. Virginia is gonna be my saving grace for everything.
You missed the Holiday Bowl, 1980. You played SMU, one of the best bowl games of all time. Crazy bowl game. 84, BYU beat a 6-6 Michigan team, and because they beat in their bowl game a 6-6 Michigan team, they were declared the national champions.
What?
The most controversial national champions ever.
Why did they play? Why did an undefeated BYU play in the Holiday Bowl against a 6-6 Michigan?
I don't know. But you voted back in 1984. You voted for who the national champion was. There was no championship game, and
Yeah.
BYU
Who
got voted as the best team, and they almost lost to that Michigan team. It
who were
was
the
so
teams that
close.
who were the teams that won the Rose Bowl and the other big bowls that didn't they got passed over?
I can't
They
remember
clearly
that.
weren't undefeated because if they were undefeated, they would have definitely given it to them. But
I do know that a lot of people are very mad that BYU has that 1984 championship, though. I can't remember what the other teams were. I'm sure Miami was in the mix because they're just incredible. One of the biggest upsets of all time, BYU, I believe it was 1985 after they came off that national championship, lost to UTEP in one of the craziest upsets of college football history. One of the worst spreads. Not a good time.
yeah, you brought that up on the last time I gave you trivia because you thought that was the one, and you thought I was humiliating you in that one. So in this one, I decided to do a little bit of that. But you're the one that's doing so great in these pick'ems and the wheels, so we got to take you down a peg somehow.
I gotta be humbled.
Yeah.
And it's not like my team was the best out of all of our teams this year and was the only one who had a chance at anything, So
You're the only one that won a bowl game.
only one who won a bowl game. Yeah. Only one who's going to retain their starting QB, retain their head coach, gonna have
Lane, schedule a game against BYU neutral field this year, right now. We're going game
No,
two.
I'm good. Oh.
You want more on that schedule there? You avoided Texas Tech, but you got Notre Dame, you got ASU, you got Arizona, in Utah. You want to add more?
You know what's crazy? We definitely need to see what happens in the portal and what happens to everything else, but I'm not scared of ASU. I'm not scared of Arizona. Utah just lost all their players. Not scared of them. Notre Dame's the only one I'm scared about. And I don't know if that says more about their schedule, more about them, more about the state of the Big 12. But we'll see.
We'll see. All right. Well, real quick, let's just talk about the transfer portal real quick about all
Yes.
the cool additions or what has been happening in the transfer portal. So, what are your thoughts on it this year? So far, I mainly just recorded quarterbacks because that's a very important position, but we have Sam Levitt, probably, possibly, for some reason, can't understand it whatsoever. Don't know what else to say to drag this along. Sam Levitt to Kentucky? What? Like, I in what world is going to one of the historically bad football teams in the SEC the year after their coach got fired? Why would that be a good choice for Sam Levitt?
I don't understand what his mindset is or anything. I mean, to be fair, it's Kentucky at this point or LSU somehow.
Why is that even a contest?
It doesn't make any sense to me. But I mean, I think there was really there's big real smoke going to Kentucky, and I think there's also smoke going to LSU. I could see either one, but I think it has to be one of those two schools. I think LSU's kind of holding on though. They're weighing their options because they lost Sorsby, but they're still going to get X, Y, and Z, right?
Dude,
They're
I
going to
don't
get
How is Kentucky in the running for him at all? He's not from there.
I
Like,
don't
he's
know.
from
It
Oregon.
doesn't make any sense.
Ugh. Dude, I really don't get that one. Like, it's like we're us in
Maybe
Kentucky.
Mark Pope is recruiting him, their
It'd
basketball coach.
literally be us in Kentucky just trading quarterbacks. Like, we might as well just had a trade. Like, that's so weird. Byron
Oh,
Brown.
AS as in ASU.
Yeah,
Yes.
ASU. Yeah,
Yeah, it doesn't make
yeah.
sense.
Sorry, I
It's
was.
kind of like Tennessee and UCLA last year.
Yeah, exactly. Joey Aguilar and Nico. I am a lever. I am a leaving.
Isn't it Illinois? I can't even say it.
It's
It's
spelled I
Nico.
am a lever. I am a
Yes,
lever.
that is definitely not how you pronounce it, though.
I know, but he's I am a leaving this team.
I am leaving. Gotcha. Good one.
But dude, I keep uh I keep going back to NCAA 25 and playing, and after like 2 years, he always wins a Heisman for some reason. I don't know why.
Nico? Oh,
Yeah,
oh
and
yeah,
in Tennessee too, he'll win a Heisman at Tennessee, and I'm like, so he doesn't leave and he wins a Heisman. Crazy. I was like, it happens every time too. It's so weird. It was him, and then Ty Simpson was in it, and someone else I'm forgetting, but I don't know. Crazy game. Byron Brown. The reports have him going to Auburn, which would make sense. That's where his head coach went from USF to Auburn. But is that? I get the when you have that connection with a coach, and that coach obviously believes in you. He wants to bring you in. He wants to give you the resources that school has, so you're going to get a good chance for them. But is Auburn really the best decision for him? Auburn seems like a dying star right now. Maybe they change it. Maybe they don't. I don't know. But right now,
Well, is what's this bucket transferring out?
who Jackson Arnold? I'm not even sure how much eligibility he has. There has been nothing around him, so
But isn't he only like a junior?
I honestly don't know.
I thought he was a freshman at Oklahoma, and then he transferred to Auburn.
I spend very little time thinking about Jackson Arnold because of how terrible he played all year
Yeah,
and last year. So uh,
yeah.
I had
You know,
a little bit of higher hopes for him to do decent this year, and that just didn't work out that way.
Byron Brown. I do want to see him on the SEC stage because I think that's where he belongs. Love to see what he can do. I hope that he can improve and everything. Auburn, I don't know. You know, the place in my mind that would have been a perfect fit or the stepping stone would have been Florida. This kind of where I imagine going. I don't hate the Auburn fit, but again, he was at USF, who should have done a lot more than they did. And it's probably going to be the same story in Auburn. Hey, you got the new toy in town and shiny thing over here, and he's going to have a lot of games of like, oh, I should have won that game. Oh, he looked good in this game. Oh, he looked bad in that game. And it's just going to, maybe overshadow what could have been the moment his senior year,
The only
But
thing I can say for Auburn, that'd be a great pickup because that dude, size wise, is just like Cam Newton. That dude's huge. So
yeah, yeah. I
that would be
mean,
a great
definitely,
pickup.
that's a good comparison, but he needs to throw the ball better.
Yeah, that's true. All right. How about Austin Simmons? We brought him up earlier. He was the starting quarterback for Ole Miss until he got injured, and Trinidad came and just shined. He's reportedly, it's not confirmed yet, reportedly going to Mizzou. He's been visiting them, and they have the highest odds for him right now. Mizzou.
Are they keeping their running back? What's his name?
Ahmad Hardy.
Yeah, are they retaining Ahmad Hardy?
I think so. He was one of the players that didn't opt out. Obviously, he played in that bowl game, so I think he is staying. I'm not completely sure, but I think he is staying.
I think the hard part about Austin Simmons is he's not going to get the recognition that he should get. Because, again, if he didn't get injured, he would have been their starting QB. And he started out really well. I mean, he only got beat out because you couldn't bench the other guy because he was doing so well when he was in. So, unfortunately, I think he should be a top program and go to. And I think Mizzou makes the most sense where your Alabamas or whatever aren't going to recruit him because, again, he was a backup. You don't recruit a backup, right? But he has the capability. So a middling SEC team that he could rise to the next year, a Missouri makes sense to me. And I hope he does well. I really do. I think he can light it up. I can also see him falling flat on his face too, but
Yeah, I do think that the plan for him during the injury right away, I think is basically if Trinidad had lost that game to LSU and it was a 5-point game, that he was coming back and they didn't. So they kept Trinidad and then Trinidad just started lighting everybody up. So clearly worked out for Ole Miss, but that does suck for Austin.
yeah.
All right, and then we got the confirmed one. First off, Josh Hoover, TCU to Indiana. Do you think he's gonna? You think he's gonna have any pocket presence there?
Yes, because Signetti is gonna
Drill it
freaking
into his skull.
he's gonna use the force and torture him and shock him until he does. Um, man, I mean, okay, let's be honest. Fernando Mendoza, he gets recruited to go to Indiana. Who thought that he was going to win the champion, or who that he was going to be the Heisman, that he was going to do what he did? Is Josh Hoover a bigger name than Fernando Mendoza, or equal?
Yes, but at the same time, this was a down year as far as Heisman's go, with
Yeah.
statistics and whatnot. But
Well, I can argue it's partially due to style play and rule changes and whatnot. But yes, uh, there's no reason to believe that Josh Hoover will not thrive at Indiana, in my opinion.
yeah, no, it's definitely a really good position to go in. That's probably where that's the best case scenario for anyone in the transfer portal to go to Indiana. So
I'm a little surprised that Hoover entered the portal, but Indiana was going to land one of these guys. I thought it was going to be Sam Levitt. Hindsight, I understand 100% why it wasn't Sam Levitt and why it's Josh Hoover. I think the person fits better at Indiana. And so I get it. But they were going to get one of these guys, and Josh Hoover is a dang good get for Indiana. I mean, put him up in the Heisman finalist right now for next year.
I don't know if we want to start with preseason Heisman finalists anymore. We saw how that went this year.
Did we do that bad?
Everybody did. We were saying, oh, it was going to be Garrett Nussmeyer. It was going to be Cade Klubnik. It was going to be, I don't know. I don't think anybody really
Jeremiah Smith.
Drew Aller. But then Sire Robinson, too.
Yeah.
Another big name. The number one, according to ESPN, Brendan Sorsby from Cincinnati to Texas Tech.
I like the fit.
That one's probably a perfect fit. Yeah. I think that.
Yeah, I mean, I know you're not as high on Brendan Sorsby. I think he's solid. Is he my number one? No, he's not. But I think he's solid. But I do think he's a good hit. And I can't remember, but I think they just got a running back too. Didn't they get the Oregon? Was it the Oregon guy? Just barely.
I think you brought it up. Yeah.
Was it Mekhi Becton?
I'm not entirely sure. If I was writing down every position, this would have taken a while. I just wrote down the quarterbacks.
Yeah, there's been quite a few running backs, by the way.
Yep, running backs, a couple wide receivers, some pretty solid defense players too.
Yeah.
Texas Tech got that edge guy from San Diego State. That's a great pickup.
They're killing it right now. Yes, Oklahoma State's killing it right now.
Yeah, well, they're basically just north to North Texas right now. But yeah,
yeah, that's true.
But yeah, another confirmed one. We brought this up earlier. Cutter Bowley from Kentucky to ASU.
Doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, you talked about this in the previous episode. My thoughts on this was either Dillingham really sees something that we're all missing, because I believe the thing is that he recruited him when he was at Oregon, but Man, he was. I think you corrected me in the chat. I think he was 15 touchdowns and 12 interceptions this year. What about that made you think this was a step up from Levitt? Because Levitt was okay. Like I think Levitt gets a little bit more hype than he deserves. He makes plays with his legs. Levitt did that. That's fantastic. This guy does not do that. He does not make plays with his legs. I know the stats can get thrown off a little bit by taking sacks. That hurts your rushing yards or whatnot. But he does not
I
significantly.
did see. Well, I personally, and I could have seen the wrong play, and I'll admittedly say I don't know as much about Cutter. I did see a play where he actually rushed for a touchdown and he like broke 3 tackles and got in. So I think he has some running capability, but it's not like Sam Levitt. Like, to be honest, Sam Levitt as a thrower this year, he did not have it. As a runner this year, Sam Levitt actually was pretty crafty and incredible. You're not going to get this out of the Cutter. I mean, some people say that he has a lot of potential. Again, I haven't watched as much about him, but again, it just doesn't make sense to bring in a potential guy when you got a 4-star QB in the wings. And Dillingham kept saying, "Oh, we know who our QB is going to be next year. We've got him. We've got him." And it's like, who you got? Cutter? Is it Jake Fetter? What?
That was another thing. I was like, what are you? Who?
Who are you referring to?
This was who you're referring to. Is we were so happy. Like he talked about him like he was getting the best quarterback in the nation. He's like, we're good. We're totally
we all
good.
thought it was Bryce Underwood for a little bit.
We thought it was a previously 5-star recruit who underperformed this year, but had plenty of time to develop. And I mean, it's early. We never know. Maybe this guy surprises us, but his showing at Kentucky definitely didn't give me hope.
Now,
I will give him this last thing. I will give him a little bit of grace because I also watched 3 years of Bo Nix at Auburn where he looked bad. Then he goes to Oregon, and that dude was a Heisman candidate. He is now in the playoffs with the Denver Broncos. He is lighting it up. So good on Bobo. I like Bo Nix, but he was not impressing me at Auburn whatsoever. I was like, this dude sucks.
and maybe we'll eat crow, but like, imagine if this mystery player, still isn't being recruited or still hasn't committed to Auburn. Maybe that player's still out there that he's gonna get, right? Then why sign this Cutter dude? It's either he's talking about Cutter, and why did Cutter get signed to be a backup? Like, he needs to clarify those comments because I don't see it. It was supposed. He made it seem like it was going to be so obvious.
Yeah,
and everybody scratching their head and be like,
very important. Obviously, as we've seen this year, like Jeff Sims won some games we didn't deserve, and otherwise we probably would have been negative on the year without Jeff Sims. So, shout out to him there. You hope that your starting quarterback is healthy all year, but I still don't know what happened with Levitt. Don't get us started on that. But if he is the backup, then fantastic. That's awesome because he's not going to be put in the position to have to do better than what.
Again, it does like I the Sam Levitt thing. I don't know whose fault that is, and it drives me nuts. And there was a moment this week, Chase, I admit it. There was a moment that I thought it was Sam Levitt. But now I'm coming back to like Dillingham saying this. And it's like, if you thought that, oh yeah, we've got this guy, we know who our QB is, say it's your 4-star then, if you're recruiting this guy to be your backup. Because it can't be this guy that you're like, oh yeah, we've got our guy. You guys won't believe who we're bringing in. Because it can't be
4 wins last season on one of the worst teams in the SEC, and he was 15 of 12.
He threw for 2,000 yards, 15 touchdowns, and 12 picks. You wouldn't believe it. We're going to get this guy, and we're going to blow it away. If it's not your 4-star QB, it's not this guy you were talking about. Did you whiff and not get him in the end? Was it Bryce Underwood you were talking about? Like, what is it? Why is there so much mystery about the comments and what's going on at ASU? Why can we just never know these things?
I wouldn't be shocked if it was Bryce because as I've had plenty of experience with him, he is terrible
A little
at
flaky.
committing. So he might have been on the hook, and then he heard that they got Kyle Whittingham, and he's like, "Wait a minute, let's wait this out." Like,
Yeah,
so
I mean, definitely, because I
obviously, we
mean,
can't pay him like Michigan was paying him with $10 million. So, like,
well, yeah, and I mean, Kyle Whittingham might have been, and Jason Beck coming in, the new OC for Michigan, might have been the only tandem that would have been like, hey, we know how you can play. We can make a star out of you. Because you look at what's this bucket, Dampier at Utah, and they played to his skill set very well. So it could have been Bryce. There was a lot of smoke there, but if that's the only thing that would have made sense to me. And again, some clarity, please, ASU, if you can.
yeah. Us going on rants about ASU again, and we're not even the ASU diehards. That guy's not even here. We're just doing it for him.
How does
So,
that team not drive him nuts?
dude,
By the way, he talks about a cursed team. What about ASU? Destined to never be that good.
so we actually, I asked the question: Is Texas Tech cursed? I was then going to rebuttal. I was like, I don't think Texas Tech's cursed. I think that the Big 12 is cursed. I think it's just the Big 12 in general because
It might be the
every
Big
time
12, but I
the
mean,
only team in the Big 12 that's won a game in the playoffs is TCU. They beat Michigan number 2, and then they got embarrassed by Georgia the next game.
we
So,
don't talk about that here,
yeah,
Chase.
yeah. So I think it's the Big 12 because you had ASU last season with they should have beat Texas. It was an absolute joke that a guy doing this straight into the guy's face wasn't targeting. I don't know how. Yeah, like dude just straight narwhaled into his face. Probably that guy is probably still in the hospital to this day and wasn't targeting. And the game goes the way it goes. So, and then this year with Texas Tech scoring 0. Ah,
There's
dude.
always next year when
Yeah.
BYU makes the championship.
Yeah.
Good one.
You gotta take some of your wheel spinning magic and your highlighted pick magic and just pour it into your team, man.
You know what? We'll talk about them after the portal if there's something we're talking about. I'm very defensive of my team. You saw at the very beginning of the season, I didn't say much. You know, I told everybody at the preview, I I don't know this team. If the portal goes in a good way, I can't do that next year. I'm all in, but we'll see.
All right, moving on. We got one more confirmed. Uh, well, we got a couple more confirmed, but we got one more in this category of confirmed quarterbacks. Alonzo Barnett the third from James Madison to UCF, and with UCF's question is more, I think, their defense. To be fair, but I think that they could at least be a fun team to watch with that guy on there. So,
Yeah,
and also with that,
a dynamic quarterback that's a dual threat has never been their issue.
yeah, the problem I see with this is that I think even some of like the bottom feeders of the Big 12 are getting some good pickups, and I think that really bodes not well for teams like ASU right now. So it's like because you have some games on your schedule that you're probably getting guaranteed losses, probably maybe not. We'll see what Dillingham can do. But then now you have some that should be like this year would have been easy wins, and now they might not be because they're getting some decent guys. So I mean,
Yeah,
UCF is one of the like basically was a gimme for most teams this year. I mean, you saw what while BYU started off questionable, they ended up throttling them. So
yeah.
and Texas Tech, I think that was the team that Texas Tech put 70 on. So uh,
Oh, they embarrassed them. Yeah, it was bad. For Alonzo Barnett the third, this is almost like a backward. I mean, yeah, you're going to a P4 school, but it's like you
you were in
can't
the
rely on your
playoffs.
defense now. What do you? Is it just going to be you? Do we not remember at the beginning of the season you had to share snaps with somebody because neither of you could throw the ball?
I
Uh,
I was pretty shocked at this one. Like, yeah, so I didn't think he'd stay at James Madison because they lost their coach, and that's a big hit. Even though that program does usually bounce back pretty soon, I wouldn't expect it next season to be as good as they are this season. But I wouldn't I wouldn't have seen UCF as the landing spot. There's probably got to be some like family dynamic or like a girlfriend there or some extra reason for why he chose that school because I don't know why anyone would choose them right now.
Yeah.
Back in the day when they were the G5 champs of being undefeated constantly, I could definitely see it because they're a fun team to watch, definitely a fun team to play for, I'm sure. But now I don't know if getting blown out by teams is really fun. So, but
Here's a random question, and I sorry to keep dragging this on. I've seen a trend of big schools recruiting girlfriends, and their boyfriends seem to follow them. Is this a legit tactic, you think, or is it coincidence? What's going on here?
yeah, well, I mean, you got at least two now, right? Well, actually, we got at least three that I can name. So we have Sorsby. He said his girlfriend's at Texas Tech.
Yep.
You had this year we had Lane Kiffin getting poached from his team because Whit Weeks
That's a
was
good one.
with his
That's a good
daughter,
one.
and last season you had Miami with the Carson Beck was dating one of the Cavender twins that played basketball for Miami, and then I believe they left and he's there. So I think that's funny. And they
I'm
broke
sure
up.
there are
And they broke up
very
before the season even started. So it's like, but
yeah.
it seems to be working.
I think there's probably a lot more than we realize. Do you think that's an accident, or do you think like purposely they're like the football program's like, hey, or do you think Texas Tech's like, hey, this volleyball player or this I think she's a soccer volleyball player, his Brendan Scoresby's girlfriend, and I'm sure she's good. I'm sure she deserved a spot on the roster. That being said, do you think they threw an extra bit of money and said, "Hey, you need to go after this chick hard. We're looking for a QB." And then once they got her, they're like, "Hey, your girlfriend's coming. We've got a spot open." You think there was a little bit of that in there?
I absolutely believe that. That when there's big money and big success on the line, I guarantee that any of those teams will do anything it takes to make that happen. And uh, I would not be shocked whatsoever if they did that. Although it would be really embarrassing if you spent all this time recruiting their girlfriend and then right as like the stuff starts happening, like you have cuffing season, then you have uncuffing season, they break up, and you're like, I just recruited this and spent all this extra money, and now he's not gonna want to come here because his ex is here.
Do you know why there's so many, you know, uh, couples in the sports world at universities? I mean, they there are a lot of different programs that they put you in, and it depends on the school and funds and everything. But like when I went to college, they would stick all of the freshmen into mandatory academic time, study hall, because hey, if you're flunking whatever, you can't play, so you have to have mandatory time. You're just stuck there with the football players, the basketball players, the soccer players, and then you start talking about athletics or whatever. You get so intertwined in that group, and that's the only group you know almost, that it's very easy for those, romantic relationships to start. So, I mean, it's almost like teams are scouting relationships and being like, okay, how can we get that player? All right, girlfriend it is. You know what would be more embarrassing though, Chase? If they got the girlfriend and they didn't get the QB. That would be pretty embarrassing. Or like they recruited the girlfriend and she's actually not that good and hopes to get the QB and they didn't get him and she's like riding the bench the whole season. They
It'd be
break up, you caused a breakup or whatever. That would be terrible.
It might be even funnier though if they recruited the girlfriend right. She plays out of her mind, and she was absolutely the best thing. But then the guy that you mainly did that for sucks, like, and absolutely just
or
smokes. Like,
or you recruit the girlfriend and they break up And he's like, heck no, I'm not going to Texas Tech. That's my ex-girlfriend's over
Yeah,
there.
exactly. That's what I was saying.
But it's an interesting technique. I mean, I 100% agree with you. There's got to be there's too many coincidences. There's too much at stake. They've got to be recruiting some of these people because they want the other one.
Absolutely. When there's that much money on the line, absolutely. Um, and then our our last little section of the transfer portal. These are confirmed, and they are big, like testaments to coaching loyalty. We got Drew Mustamaker from North Texas to Oklahoma State, following his coach, as well as Rocco Becht following his coach from Iowa State to Penn State. And what can soon follow, as we brought up earlier, Byron Brown. If he goes to Auburn, he'd be following his coach as well. So how much of that do you think is just like how much they've connected and how much they believe in each other in that relationship, or how much do you think it's that come with me, I'm going to this bigger school, I can get you money?
Can it be both?
Yeah, but what do you think the split is? If you're saying it's both, you think it's mostly money? You think it's mostly the relationship?
I think it's case by case. So, like Drew Mustamaker, I want to believe that he had bigger names and bigger money out there
Then
than
Oklahoma
Oklahoma State.
State, probably. Yeah.
I think that was out of loyalty. I really do. You look at like Rocco Becht. That's a tough one because like he was beloved at ISU. I mean, more so than what's his bucket? Can't remember his name
Brock
right now.
Purdy.
Brock Purdy, yeah, because Brock Purdy was just decent. He was good, but he was decent. He was Mr. Irrelevant for a reason, and Rocco Becht is a legend there. And so I don't know. I mean, maybe he's got loyalties to his coach, but I think maybe that one's a little bit of both. Byron Brown, I mean, I just think he was looking for a better opportunity, and the best opportunity maybe for him was going to be with his old coach because he wanted it there. So it probably just depends, but I mean, you see a lot of loyalty. Here's a bigger question for you, or a different question. I've seen bias again, blue goggles. The University of Utah has turned against Kyle Whittingham, their beloved coach, a coach that brought that school from nothing to P4 status to Rose Bowls, etc., etc., to beating BYU over and over and freaking over again.
To being a constant thorn in Oregon's plans to make the playoffs.
Yeah, Oregon, USC, into a very respectable program. He went on the record and said, "Hey, I'm not trying to poach people. If people want to be in the portal, then we'll contact them. If they want to be here, great, right?" Michigan can pull any player in the country. They don't have to pull people from Utah necessarily, right? Well, Utah's whole entire staff goes to Michigan. By the way, there are, I think, I want to say like 6 or 8 BYU alum on Michigan's coaching staff right now. It's and players, it's like half their team is in the portal right now. It's a scary time for Utah, and I would imagine a lot of them are going to the University of Utah. The tone has changed from the fans, and they're just, I've seen them just f Whittingham, we hate him, yada yada yada. What about the loyalty there? Is that valid? Is that not valid? What's going on there?
You think he didn't want to retire? You guys picked. Like, obviously it's not the fans' fault, but that administration said we don't want to lose this coordinator to another team. Whittingham's not going to be here much longer, and said, "Sorry, Whittingham, you're gone." And as much as you're saying Whittingham was saying, "I'm not trying to poach anybody." Him making that comment is poaching people, by the way. Like him saying, "If you want to be I'm not looking, but if you want to be in the portal, I would be willing to consider talking to you about coming to this school that I now work at. Like, obviously, those some of those guys were already going to do that. Some people hear that and go, opportunity for more money, like, or more success, more notoriety. I mean, you're probably going to have that more. Utah, if everyone would have stayed and believed in this coordinator, if everyone would have linked up and believed, then it would have been different. I think Utah would have absolutely been a Big 12 contender. But now that this has happened, and then one guy left, and then another guy left, and then another guy left, and it's just slowly just chain link fences coming apart at the seams. So I definitely put
Okay.
him to
What
be
is it?
loyal. I definitely do not expect him to be loyal to the team that literally forced him to leave when he didn't want to. So
I mean, we don't know exactly what happened, but I would agree with you, Chase. Something weird happened, and somebody done messed up. Um, Mark Harlan, AD of the year. Does it say more about Kyle Whittingham? Does it say more about Morgan Scally, their new head coach, or the university that there's this mass exodus going on?
I think for one, I think it says the most about Whittingham is that he can pull people like that easily. I don't know how different their contracts are. Like if he's going to be giving them significantly more money. Um,
I
as
mean,
it
I
is,
think Michigan basically was like, here's the checkbook, go have at it.
I mean, yeah, look what they did to get Bryce Underwood. They literally had Tom Brady and all, and a ton of millionaires in a room being like, "Hey, what do you want?" And then he overturned his pick from LSU. So, but yeah, Michigan is going pure blue blood in their money in their wallet. So I don't think it says too much about the defensive coordinator that got promoted. I just think that money's a factor. If
Are you
Utah,
talking about? Are you talking about BYU's ex DC, or who you talking about?
sorry, who got
Oh,
promoted?
Morgan Scally. You're talking
Yeah,
about Morgan Scally.
yeah.
Gotcha. Well, I mean, everybody knew he was the head coach in waiting,
Yeah,
but he couldn't
which is a
retain the
weird
staff.
place to be. Most places that's not how that works. You
No,
don't have
that's very unique.
yeah.
Yes.
He's the next guy. It's like most of the time, if there's a next guy, that dude is getting poached that season. Like if someone's looking that good, even when I brought it up earlier, even in NCAA, if I do well in one season, my coordinators are gone. They go from being a D or a C minus level coordinator to A plus because of all of the winning, and then all of a sudden they're poached, and I got to start all over again, figure out how to recruit without my extra recruiting power. So I know that's not exactly how it works in real life, but it, there's no way that just doesn't happen where you have this like passing of the guard or this passing of
I
the
guess
baton.
one of the reasons why I bring this up, it's just it something isn't clicking for me because I do like Morgan Scally. I think he has potential to be a fantastic head coach. He's done some fantastic coaching on that defensive end. You think defense, you think scary defense, right? Uh, but he's been with that staff for a long time. All of those, he knows all those guys. Those guys knew he was the next one. You'd think that he'd be creating relationships, waiting for that turn, and yet they decided, hey, and a lot of them, Utah is home, or maybe not even the university, maybe it is the university, but Utah in general is home. And those guys pack their bags and they're going to an unfamiliar place in Michigan. Who, yeah, it's opportunity, it's money, it's fame, but Kyle Whittingham, he's not going to be coaching as long as Scally. So how long are you going to be at Michigan? What are you going to do, right? So
Well,
there's just some questions.
unless there's another COVID year or some weird eligibility stuff that happens, they don't need him there that long. They just need him for another 2 years, for the most part. If you're a freshman, maybe not, but if you're a really good freshman, probably still just 2 years because you're probably either going to go to the draft or transfer anyway. So
There's something weird going on. I mean, I I question Mark Harlan. Maybe he was too busy trying to keep BYU out of the playoffs. Which, well, good job, by the way, Mark Harlan. Um, I don't know, but I wonder what's going on there. But I mean, there's similar situations, by the way. There's loyalty and then there's disloyalty. That whole, we'll see how Lane Kiffin does. You know, the staff, the players he can play. You know how he's going to be viewed in Ole Miss, which I think they're just going to forget about him. They're not even going to hate him. They're just going to forget about him, in my opinion. Like,
I
we
mean,
got this guy. He coached us to a national championship right over here.
he's still built this team that got them there. Yes,
He didn't get them to the semifinals. I'll tell you that.
He brought in all of these guys with help.
Does he deserve the credit? He didn't get them there. He abandoned them.
He deserves some of the credit, not all of the credit by any means, but he deserves.
I don't think Ole Miss fans are going to give him one bit of that credit.
Maybe not, but Chance, just as the logical person,
I would. I'm speaking from a fan's point of view.
Yeah, I get that. You're probably right. They probably wouldn't want to give him that just because of how tainted the season now feels with him leaving. Which, like I said, even for me as an LSU fan, even I'm like, did he make the right decision? I don't know. We shall see with this next game and the game after that if it goes that far, or we shall see in the next couple seasons at LSU. So, because in my mind, if he can do that at Ole Miss, and he brings this same coordinator to LSU with the talent they are basically guaranteed to get in the Louisiana pipeline and close by, I think they're golden. So, but we shall see.
Anyway, I bring that up just because portal, weird stuff is happening. We've seen it with players, but now we're seeing it with coaching a little bit. Weird coaching cycles, weird loyalty tests. Are we loyal? Money? Both? I don't know.
Yeah, no,
Weird time.
NIL has definitely changed some things, but also if there's no way you can tell a guy like we want you to be done now against your will, and also don't go to any other team. So, and especially the fact that Michigan ended up opening up right around that time, you're like, uh oh. If only Michigan could have held it together for another year, then this wouldn't have been an issue. But unfortunately for Utah, the short term right now, you are in the losing column. So it's my
what?
This might pay off with their coordinator. What I forget his name again, but with him becoming
Morgan Scalley.
This could work in the long term for him because, like you said, Whittingham's not going to be around forever. But in the short term, they are losing real bad right now.
You know, and like it probably would have been all fine and dandy, but the Michigan job had to pull up under very odd circumstances, to say the least. And they couldn't pull their superstar, and Kyle Whittingham was right there. I mean, it could have just been Whittingham went to an analyst position. He went into TV. He just retired. But no, Michigan had to open up, and then everything went wrong. You know, it's amazing how one quirky thing can just ruin a program.
Yeah,
But that's the way it goes.
Well, on that note, how betrayed do you think Alabama would have felt if Nick Saban would have taken the LSU job?
Ooh, that would have been a tough one.
He was literally the Vegas odds favorite for the LSU job for the longest time. You're like, dang, that would have been crazy. She was always the true talent anyway. So she's the one.
But didn't he go on TV and he was like, "Don't tell the missus about how much money they're trying to offer me because if she knew, I'd be coaching again or whatever."
Yeah. How much you offering? Okay. We'll get him suited up for next season right now. Well, see you at fall camp. Or sorry.
It's crazy. It's crazy how somebody can be so dry and just so hated, and then all of a sudden he's got some jokes, and you're like, am I starting to like Saban somehow? Same thing happened with Tom Brady. I hate it.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, no, anyway. Nick Saban has. I've always respected Saban, but yes, I despise the school he was coaching for. So, unfortunately, but hard not to respect the dude that has that much success in such a small window or such consistent window. But he also gave me some of my favorite collapses or losses I've seen. So seeing the giant fall is always a sight. So
Yeah,
Well,
that's true.
but yeah, rather would have seen it at a different school. But anyway,
Well, now you can see it at Indiana.
we shall see. All right. Well, that's all I got. If that's all what you got.
That's all I got for now. I'm sure we are going to have a portal full of players and lots to discuss in the next coming weeks. But also, the national championships in like, when is it again? Isn't it like the 17th?
Yeah.
Why does it seem like it's so far away still?
Because all these, so they're having the playoff games because last week they were on New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. They were on a Thursday and a Friday. So now this week it's on a Thursday and a Friday. So because they don't want it to be like 3, 4 days and then it's the national championship, they're doing 10 days. So that's why it keeps getting spaced out with all this crap. When we should just keep making it Saturdays. Should just always be Saturdays. You know, uh, Dan Lanning had some pretty good points. I won't lie. He was making a lot of good points out there, and I respect.
Yeah. Well, I guess we got another week where we'll talk about. I guess we got to recap the games, but yeah, season's not over yet. Seems like it should be already, but season's not over.
One more week, guys. One more. 3 more games of the season. And then we're back to the off season, back to other sports. Sad. Next year should be pretty crazy too. But for now, this has been the Concussion Protocol Podcast. Thank you for your support. Please like, subscribe, share, follow, all that jazz. You need it. We appreciate it. As Chance once said, every episode. Hi, Mom. Bye, Mom. Chase, Chance, signing off.
Peace.